We all have that roommate, the one who lives in our head completely rent-free and seems to do nothing but criticize. It's that voice, right? The one that questions every decision, doubts our abilities, and just steals our courage right when we need it the most. Well, today, we're not just going to talk about that voice. We are going to build a practical, step-by-step system to actually manage it, to understand its real motives, and ultimately to take back control of our own internal dialogue. And this, right here, this is the heart of the problem, isn't it? This single most dangerous voice, the one with the incredible power to stop you dead in your tracks, it sounds exactly like you. It knows all your secret fears, it remembers every single mistake you've ever made, because it's woven right into the fabric of your own mind. It's that quiet whisper right before you hit post, that cold wave of doubt when a new opportunity comes along, that late-night movie replaying all your worst moments.
I mean, does any of this sound familiar? You type out a comment, a post, something you care about, and then you spend the next 10 minutes just dissecting every single word until you finally just give up and delete it. Or a great opportunity lands in your lap. A new job, a chance at a new relationship. And just like that, your mind generates a whole list of reasons why you're not ready. You find yourself avoiding a smart risk, not because the logic is flawed, but because that voice screaming, "What if you fail?" it's just too loud. Yeah, that's the critic at work, keeping you stuck by force-feeding you a highlight reel of your past mistakes.
Now, we usually frame this as some kind of personal failing. We tell ourselves, "I lack courage," or "I'm just not confident enough." But what if that's the wrong frame entirely? I want you to consider this perspective. You don't lack anything. You are being interrupted. Your natural impulse to grow, to create, to try new things is being hijacked by this critical internal monologue. And by the end of this explainer, you're going to have a system to dismantle that interruption for good.
Okay, so to dismantle this interruption, we have to understand where it came from. Because this voice, it's not a personal flaw. It's more like a piece of ancient programming running on modern hardware. Let's dig into the origin story of your inner critic.
I want you to picture our ancestors for a second. For them, survival depended on one thing more than anything else: staying in the tribe. If you got cast out, that was a death sentence. So our brains developed this feature, a really powerful internal alarm system designed to prevent social rejection at all costs. Its job was to make you second-guess yourself, to worry what other people think, to avoid any risk that could lead to failure and embarrassment. Back then, it worked perfectly. But today, that same system is completely miscalibrated. The danger is no longer a lion in the bushes. It's hitting publish on a blog post or speaking up in a meeting. Your inner critic is essentially an outdated security guard, sounding the alarm for threats that just aren't there anymore.
And that leads to a really crucial question. If this voice is, at its core, trying to protect us, why does battling it feel so completely draining? Why does our usual strategy of telling ourselves to just be positive or stop being so negative feel so exhausting and honestly so useless? Well, it turns out the problem isn't the voice itself. It's the way we've all been taught to fight it.
Our typical approach is to just suppress it. We try to fight the thought, to push it away. But you know what happens when you try not to think about a pink elephant, right? The thought just gets stronger. This creates this painful loop where we're not just fighting the thought anymore, we're fighting our own frustration about having the thought. And this is where the real danger is. Our identity gets fused with it. I'm having a thought that I'm not good enough collapses into a much more brutal statement: I am not good enough. The system we're building here is based on the exact opposite principle: observation. By simply watching the thought without judgment, we create separation. And that allows for a massive identity shift from "I am my thoughts" to "I have thoughts."
This practice actually has a name. It's called cognitive separation. It's the skill of creating space between you, the conscious observer, and the thoughts that just drift through your mind. You aren't the storm. You're the sky that's watching the storm clouds pass. You learn to see thoughts for what they really are, just mental events. They're not direct orders, they're not objective truths. And most importantly, you realize they are not you. This one skill is the entire foundation for the system we're about to build.
So how do we turn this big idea into a practical, repeatable tool that we can actually use in the heat of the moment? Well, we need a framework, and this is it. The IDA system. It stands for Internal Dialogue Architecture, and it's a simple 3-step process for deconstructing the critic's interruptions right as they're happening.
The system has 3 steps. First, we externalize the voice, which means we take it out of our head to break that identity fusion. Second, we interrogate the thought, questioning its logic and its power like a skeptical detective. And third, we replace it. Not with some blind positivity, but with cold, hard evidence. Let's see how this actually works.
Okay, let's apply this. Imagine you're about to give a big presentation, and that voice starts up. You're going to fail. Everyone is going to think you're an idiot. Step 1, externalize. Instead of "I'm going to fail," you reframe it. You say, there's the critic saying I'm going to fail. You can even give it a name, the gremlin, the worrier, whatever it takes to create that separation. Step 2, interrogate. Is it 100% true that I will fail? What does fail even mean in this context? What is the absolute worst-case scenario? And is it survivable? The answer is almost always yes. Now for step 3, replace with evidence. This is not about affirmations. Don't just say, "I'll be amazing." State an objective truth. I feel nervous, which is a normal human feeling, but I have prepared for this, I know the material, and I've practiced. You can feel the power shift already, can't you?
The idea system is a really powerful tactic for winning those moment-to-moment battles with the critic. But the long-term war isn't won by fighting forever. The real goal is to change the entire internal environment, to create a mind where the critic just has less power to begin with. This is how we move from a reactive tactic to a proactive strategy of building trust in ourselves.
Think of it this way. Your inner critic thrives in an environment of self-doubt. It's like a weed that grows best in uncertain soil. When you don't trust yourself to handle challenges or keep the promises you make to yourself, that critic's voice gets louder because it feels like its job, protecting you, is more important than ever. So the ultimate strategy is to systematically build undeniable proof of your own reliability.
And the way we build this proof is by creating what I call a self-trust ledger. Think of it as a positive feedback loop that you build intentionally, and it starts incredibly small. You make a tiny promise to yourself. Today, I will go for a 10-minute walk. And then you do it. That's an entry in the ledger. It's one piece of evidence that you are reliable. You do it again tomorrow, and over time, these small, kept promises build a mountain of real, earned confidence. And as your belief in your own ability to follow through grows, the critic's voice naturally softens. It has less to worry about because you've proven you can handle things. And from there, you can start making and keeping much bigger promises to yourself.
And that brings us to maybe the most important point of all. The goal was never to silence your inner critic. That's an impossible, draining war to fight. The true goal is to outgrow it, to build yourself up through evidence and kept promises so that its influence simply shrinks. Its voice becomes quieter, not because you shouted it down, but because your own voice of earned confidence has finally, truly become stronger.
So I want to leave you with an invitation. This week, just notice. Identify one reoccurring negative thought that interrupts you. And when it shows up, don't fight it, get curious. Run it through the IDA system. Externalize, interrogate, and replace with evidence. Just see what you discover. This is the first step, the first entry in your ledger on the path to building a truly unshakable sense of self-trust.